Hi everybody, it's Heidi Hope and we are live for FAQ Friday. And this is a workshop week, so I look extra tired. And I realized that I was wearing the exact same outfit last Friday. So this is in fact a new week, even though you can't tell by my wardrobe. And I'm super tired from the last 3 amazing days that we had photographers from all over the world who visited us here at the studio. We did 4 shoots and we talked marketing and pricing and sales and client issues, and we did Photoshop demonstrations, and so we've been going straight for 3 whole days. And now I'm sad I just said goodbye to everybody, although you can still probably hear some chatter in the background. And it's time to get down to business with all of you who can't make it out to the studio but still want to learn a little bit about HHP. So we've got awesome questions this week, and unfortunately I cannot get to them all because we have so many. So I've selected a few that are different questions from what we've heard in the past. And any questions that were asked this week, I so appreciate you taking the time to ask your question. If it doesn't get answered this week, please resubmit it to us next week. At this point, with getting so many questions, I'll just be answering new and fresh questions each week. And if it's a repeat question, you might need to go back into the archives of our old FAQ Fridays, and then you can see the answers there. So let's get started. So let's start with Richard. This is a nice, easy question for my tired brain. Richard asks, when you and your husband started your business, did you at any point take out a loan? Why or why not? So when I started the business on my own, and Sean still had his career in financial services, and I did take out a loan from my mother. So I was on maternity leave from teaching, and I borrowed the money to buy a really nice camera. I opened a business bank account, I registered my business, I started paying for insurance and all that good stuff, and I borrowed money to buy a camera. And I thought, if I just make the money to pay off this expensive camera, then my business will have really made it. And in the first month, I paid that camera back. And since then, we have never been in debt as a business. We have never taken out a loan. We have always saved. We have always had plenty of business first before launching anything new. So before we opened a studio, we were already making plenty of money every month to furnish that studio and to pay the studio rent. So we always had the money first and then invested it in the business. So I hope that answers your question for you. Oh, and by the way, that's because my husband is very cheap. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he's very financially savvy, and he makes sure that we have a secure financial base before ever fulfilling any of my creative whims. Okay, that's a nice way of putting it. Okay, Ashley asks, how do you deal with parents that think they're helping but are actually taking all the little ones' attention? I find it difficult saying, oh, mom or dad, I got this. So this definitely is a problem that a lot of people run into. The thing is, parents don't realize that they're taking the little one's attention. They think they're helping you out. So a lot of times, if this situation arises, where the baby's looking towards mom or dad and not in the lens, I'll be like, oh, well, keep doing that, but come right near my face, because I really want them looking in the lens of the camera. So if they're looking away, if they're not looking right towards me, then we're going to miss the shot. And they're always like, oh, okay, and they'll duck down and they'll get right near me. Or I can even be like, okay, hang on one second. So we got some cute ones with them looking up towards you. So now let's do one where they're looking towards me. So that's like a really nice way of saying, like, okay, let them do their thing, and then be like, now I want them really looking at me. Sometimes I'll take, if the parents are holding a toy, I'll actually just be like, oh, let me see the toy, and I'll take the toy and I'll put it over my head or something. So that's sort of how we deal with that. Okay. Brianna asks, when taking senior portraits, do they pay in full that day or in parts as it gets closer? Also, do you pick poses or the client? So this is a great question. All of our sessions, we collect a session fee up front. So to book the session with us, they pay the session fee in full. Otherwise, they do not get a spot in our calendar. And we do that because we're a very busy studio. So we can't just hold dates forever for people who aren't paying. And before we collected the session fee up front, people would forget their session day, they wouldn't show up, they weren't as serious about it. they would cancel last minute. When we started collecting the session fee up front and made it a serious appointment that they've already invested in, then they're much less likely to cancel on you or just forget about it or not show up. So being busy, that was the better way to handle it. I think I'm losing my voice. Okay. Bethany asks, I love this question, by the way, Bethany. Bethany asks, there are so many people that are so quick to judge and to put a business down. I'm assuming at one time or another, someone has rained on your parade. How do you keep your head up and how do you move on? This is very true. But it's not just in business. Everywhere in life, there are sucky people. People who want to rain on your parade. And the more happy you are in your own life, I'm losing my voice. The more happy you are in your own life, the more successful you are, the more people really want to rain on your parade. But this is what human beings do. Human beings have a feeling inside and they project it onto other people. So when I see something wrong with somebody else, when I'm judging somebody else, it's because I have some kind of insecurity within myself that I do not want to look at. I would rather project it on them and blame them for the situation. So anytime people judge me harshly, I try to just remember that they are just being human and there is something inside of them that they feel badly about. And it could be anything, and it's not my job to try to understand that or analyze it. But I just remember that they're just being human and it's nothing personal against me. Because I think that we can easily take things personally, especially if you're a people pleaser and a people person. You want to make others happy. You want to make everyone happy. And so you don't like being judged and you don't like when people say or think bad things about you. And trust me, I am like that. But you could drive yourself crazy, especially in the world of social media and being a business owner and dealing with so many consumers and so many other businesses and so much other competition in the marketplace. I think it's very easy to take people's criticism to heart. I hope that I think that's been a big lesson in my life is to be able to see that as their issue and not my issue, and to be able to just know my own values, that I'm just doing my best job that I can do, that I'm an honest, giving, loving, happy person. And I hope that I attract people like that into my life and I just don't pay attention to the rest. And if there's nothing else I can teach my children, that is what I hope I can teach them. That you can't prevent the world from being crazy. All you can do is focus on yourself and making yourself the best person that you can be and always giving your all and always being loving and accepting of others. And trust me, as you are more loving and accepting of others too, that you tend to attract those people into your life more anyways. And the people that are judgy and sucky, for the lack of a better word, I don't really even notice them anymore. I'm sure there are lots of people out there who hate me, but I tend not to either pay attention or even notice them anymore. So hopefully I don't get lots of hate mail for that. But that is my honest to goodness answer. And Bethany, I know you, and I know that you are a great person. So anybody else who says any differently, just ignore them. Okay. So we got Richard there. Okay, Dana asks, I'm finally about to raise my prices, change packages, and I'd love to know your thoughts on how to tell my clients. I'm assuming I need to. I was thinking about a blog post to briefly talk about all the changes going on. Is that enough? I know my repeat clients never look at my pricing, so should an email go out to them about the changes? I love these Q&As. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge with us. And by the way, your creative business plan is fabulous. I'm so glad you got the creative business plan, Dana, and I'm so glad you are loving it, and I really, really, really love to hear your feedback. So thank you so much for sharing that with me and for your awesome question this week. So this is a great question. I think as business owners, it is a natural part of your business. As your business grows and changes, as the marketplace changes, as your product pricing changes, as the product, your cost of goods is going to change, the overhead of your business is going to change, and what maybe you need to make as an entrepreneur is going to change as well. And there's inflation and all that good stuff. So as your cost of doing business changes, you are going to need to change your prices. This is a normal part of doing business. I don't think that you need to do a blog post about this. I think by doing a blog post, you're kind of making a big deal out of it. And really, it's not a big deal. It's a normal part of business. As far as your return clients, I would just, when they call you to book again, I would just simply say, let me send you over a copy of my new price list. Some of the items have changed. You'll notice some differences. So check it over first and let me know if you have any questions. It's as simple as that. I think as entrepreneurs, many people feel the need that they have to like fully explain and defend their pricing to people, like there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. You got the business plan, so you know how to price your business based on the needs of your business. And need to share that with the consumer unless, I guess if they ask you, you could certainly tell them, well, this is how the cost breakdown is of every item. But I wouldn't put that info out there because honestly, I don't think that most consumers don't really need it, and you certainly do not need to defend any changes that you're making within your business. That's a normal part of the profession. So go ahead and do your pricing change and just make sure repeat clients, you make them aware of the new prices. And that's all I would do. And good luck with getting all that pricing done. I want to keep in touch with me and let me know how everything's going with the business planning. Okay, so there are so many good questions this week, and I'm sad to not do all of them. But I'm going to pick one last one from Karen because I think I didn't get to her question last week, so we will get to it this week. Karen says, I started to work on my business plan but have gotten sidetracked. I think I figured out that I make $3 an hour. Ha! Okay, this is a very eye-opening part of the creative business plan. So just so you know what everybody's talking about is the creative business plan for photographers. If this is your first time tuning in, I created a business plan for creative individuals, photographers especially, how to plan your business from the ground up, make a plan for yourself in the coming year to focus your efforts, create a business that you love, and plan your finances so that it affords for you to be able to do what you love as a business owner. So yes, as people start to actually doing their numbers, oftentimes they realize that they're not really profiting very much money. So Karen realized she's only making $3 an hour. Ouch. What other job would you show up to that you would make $3 an hour for? Probably not many, right? So her question is based on weekly workflow. She says, I am super ADD. I flip from one thing to another randomly. Can you talk about, do you have a weekly schedule, like certain days to shoot, edit, market, etc.? And more importantly, how do you stick to it? So I will tell you this. We're very busy. So I am also super ADD, and I also get easily distracted. But I do not have time for that anymore. So the things that used to distract me, like getting lost on Pinterest and like looking at other people's blogs and getting sucked into social media. If I do that now, I just don't have time to get my job done. So I've just learned as a habit, I can do some of that stuff in my free time, like on a weekend or something if I want to peruse blogs or if I want to get on social media, I can do a little more of that. Otherwise, I really do limit my time, so I focus on my tasks that are profitable for my business. Those are shooting, editing, marketing, which is more like blogging and then spreading that stuff on social media. But after I spread it on social media, I need to get off of social media. I can't stay there all day. I'll never come out of the black hole. So those are the things that I do to kind of force myself to focus on the task at hand. I don't have a particular schedule because we shoot newborns, and so my schedule is always changing. But I am here 9 to 5. So I show up to work and I've got to get my job done in those hours, and I got to get home to my nanny. So within that time, I'm flexible. I have shooting time. I have, I usually have one gallery that has to get done per day. I have one blog preview that has to get done per day. Then I do my social media stuff. I usually have a pre-session every day. Those are scheduled in. So day to day it might change, but I generally have the same tasks to do. If you're at home or working from home, you don't have a set schedule, I would just keep a journal for 1 week and write. It's like kind of like a food journal. Like you're going to go on a diet, you've got to keep a food journal and take an assessment of how much you're actually eating. So with social media and all other elements of your photography business that are distracting you, you need to keep a journal and see how much you're consuming. Keep your journal for a week and see how many hours you're devoting to specific tasks. Then ask yourself the time you're putting in versus the return. So marketing is important, but 40 hours a week on Facebook is not going to give you a return for 40 hours of work, right? If you shot for 40 hours a week, you would get a much greater return on that. So just think about those hours that you're spending, what you're doing, and how profitable they are. That would be my first step in establishing your schedule. And then you can, from there, construct a schedule where you have enough hours for each element of your business that you need to do per week. So I hope that that helps. And it's a complicated answer depending on what your tasks are, but I'm guessing you get distracted by the same things as me. So you need to limit your time on them. Go on a social media, Pinterest diet. That is my recommendation for you, Karen. Thank you all so much for joining us this FAQ Friday. I think there's a major delay because I'm broadcasting from a weird room. So I'm sorry if that hasn't been matching up. But I thank you for staying with me, and I really hope to see you next week when I make more sense. Happy Friday, everyone.